Manchester United just handed a £138 million golden parachute to a ghost. 5 years, zero legacy, and now he lives for absolutely nothing. The question is Jadon Sancho the biggest fraud in Manchester United transfer history in the Premier League? Is he? Welcome back to the Football Hot Mic, where we don't just talk about the game, we light up the match. I am Chika and I'm your host for today. If you're enjoying what I'm doing, if you like my podcast or if you like my channel, tell people about my channel. Be an evangelist for me. Share it, tell them, like it, and then also drop your comments in the comment section. Don't just watch and leave. Try and help us so that we can serve you better. Smash the like button, send it to some of your friends if you enjoy my episode, and then come back and watch better episode. Now let's go. Today we are dissecting a disaster of epic proportions. The clock has officially run out on Jadon Sancho at Old Trafford. What was billed as a crown jewel of an era has officially turned into a £138 million dumpster fire. When he was signed, he was hailed as a golden boy. He was hailed as the best winger in England. He was on fire. If you look at his stats at Borussia Dortmund, not just the eye test. The eye test, in generations we've not seen anything like what he did in Dortmund. The statistics alone keeps you short. There was nothing like that. 5 years ago, Jadon Sancho arrived at Old Trafford saying it was a dream come true. Today is a masterclass in mismanagement and a cautionary tale of a generational talent who completely lost his way. Let's break down how it all went down catastrophically wrong. In 2021, Sancho, while at Borussia Dortmund, was the crown prince of English wingers, tearing up the Bundesliga and looking destined to dominate world football for a decade. In 5 seasons in Dortmund, Sancho scored 53 goals, 67 assists in 158 games for Borussia Dortmund. He scored 53 goals and assisted 63 times in 158 games. That's massive. That is massive. While at Dortmund, if you even look at the eye test, how he played, he was the most exciting English player. The most. I'm not exaggerating. United had to come 2 times for him. They came the first season, they couldn't sign him. Then they came the second season again and finally signed him. He was hailed as the second coming of maybe Cristiano Ronaldo. It was all fanfare. Everybody was terrified of the signing. Now, after 5 years, he's been released. And he doesn't have a club right now. And he's not associated with any club. He's training. He will get a club, definitely get a club. But that is falling from grace to grass. Maybe he's going to go to Turkey. Or maybe he's going to go to the Serie A. But absolutely, no Premier League big top team is going for him. After having watched him for Aston Villa and Chelsea, he has failed. Once Manchester United splashed £73 million on him in 2021 and gave him a massive £250,000 per week contract, the centre was let loose. Once they offered him £250,000 back in 2021, the £73 million price tag created immediate suffocating pressure, combined with bad luck, like an ear infection delaying his integration and the sudden tactical wrench of Cristiano Ronaldo's return. The foundation crumbled before it was even poured. Yes, it crumbled and cracked. That same season, Cristiano Ronaldo came back. Sancho couldn't do anything he was doing in Dortmund. He couldn't beat the man. And what Manchester United did not realize was that he had Hakimi behind him. So he played a lot of 1-2s with Hakimi, where he beats his man or Hakimi opens space for him and he goes inside. In Manchester United, who did he have? He had Wan-Bissaka. And Wan-Bissaka, attacking wise, is toothless. He doesn't offer you anything in attack. In fact, what makes Wan-Bissaka special or his greatest strength is marking one-on-one, defending one-on-one. He's very, very tough to beat one-on-one. He's not very good in positioning. But when it comes to physicality and one-on-one, he's extremely difficult to beat. So while he had Wan-Bissaka behind him, who couldn't go forward, he was left all alone to beat his man. And he couldn't do it. Because yes, he had pace, he had trickery. But his trickery was having some other person act as a decoy for him, while he displays his man and passes to the person and goes inside. And Man United, it didn't work. And also, Man United didn't play possession football. Dortmund played a lot of possession football. And Man United, it was more of transition football with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So the tactical setting was totally different. And he didn't succeed. Over 5 seasons in England, Sancho scored only 12 goals, recorded 6 assists across 83 total appearances, making 41 Premier League starts. He made 41 Premier League starts and 83 total games. The stats are 41. The total games are 83. Stats 41, total games 83. And he scored only 12 goals and 6 assists. This is a stat even defenders can beat. If you look at the record of John Terry as a defender, this stat is worse than his record. This stat, even look at Branislav Ivanovic, this stat is worse than their record. Only 12 goals. Van Dijk has a better stat than this in that period. 5 seasons in the Premier League. Only 12 goals and 6 assists out of 83 games. That's poor. He failed. And he didn't even replicate this in Chelsea or in Aston Villa, even though he won titles or he won cups over there, or trophies over there. While on loan, Sancho reached 3 separate European finals with Dortmund, Chelsea and Aston Villa. He won the Europa League with Aston Villa. He won the European Conference League with Chelsea. He even scored in the final. At Dortmund, he was the man of the match in the semi-final against PSG. Can we go and watch it? He was the man of. He killed the left back. I think it was Pacho. Finished him on that day. He executed him on that day. While alone, Sancho thrives in fluid, high-tempo, transition-heavy system where he can isolate fullbacks in 1v1 situations from the left wing. United's shifting tactical identities under Solskjaer and Erik ten Hag expose his struggles when asked to track back aggressively or adapt to rigid, structured build-up patterns. That is also true. At Dortmund, he didn't need to track back. He needed to concentrate his strength and his stamina on beating his man. At Manchester United, he was required to always come back and defend. And Wan-Bissaka never went forward with him. When space was compressed in the Premier League, his output went low because he can't function when in a team where space is compressed. He needs a team like that. That is if you notice very well, that's why if I watch any attacker in Bundesliga, I divide his goals by 2 to think of what he will score in the Premier League. This is why in all the leagues in Europe, not in all the major leagues, because you have the Dutch league which is also open, in all the major leagues, the Bundesliga is the easiest to score. In fact, if I want to watch highlights, I prefer the Bundesliga over any league, over even the Premier League, because the goal scoring is extremely on another level. It's exciting, it's cracking. There's very little appetite to play defense in the Bundesliga. It's all about ginger pressing to the last, and then attacking. They don't really play that defense. They don't. That's why Bundesliga is one of the worst places to buy a defender. They don't really know how to defend in the German Bundesliga. It's all about attack. So if you watch them, they leave a lot of spaces. So the attackers have time. That's why Hugo Ekitike was surprising to me how he succeeded in Premier League easily. Seamlessly, because to me he had a very good debut season for Liverpool. Extremely good debut season. It was surprising to me. Because if you watch how they attack in the Bundesliga, the spaces are open. Look at Omar Mamouche. He can't replicate that in the Premier League. Look at Timo Werner. They have lots of spaces to run into and attack. In fact, they want to keep it entertaining. When they come to Premier League, where some teams just sit back and defend, the Bundesliga, you don't have teams. It's so embarrassing to sit back and defend. They feel it's embarrassing. They want to attack. Premier League is not like that. People, they don't care. All they want to do is defend all day. So when Sancho came to the Premier League, where you have the likes of teams who just sit down all day and defend, they don't care about going forward, it became a problem. Because he didn't have that space to run into, and he didn't have the trickery to beat his man. And then constant changing of managers also did not help him at United. He had Solskjaer at the point, he had ten Hag at the point, and then he had the right back who was Wan-Bissaka, who is not the same as Hakimi. It's totally different set of players. So the signing was very, very disastrous from the beginning. Early tight space control, exceptional vision in the final third, and proven pedigree in European competition, reaching 3 European Cup finals across his loan spells are Sancho's strengths. Sancho's flaws are his glaring lack of defensive work rate. He doesn't help in defense, mental fragility when confidence dipped, and inability to handle the intense physical and psychological scrutiny of English top flights. He's not physical at all. He doesn't even want to be physical. I don't know if he goes for gym sessions. And the constant pressure of Manchester United. People don't know how big Manchester United is. Even as a Chelsea fan, you can't compare any team in the Premier League to Manchester United. It's the biggest club in England. The pressure is something else. There are certain things you can do in Chelsea and go scot free. You can't do it in United. The scrutiny is intense. He couldn't handle it. He had to even take leave and attend to his mental health. Sancho's training ground fallout with Erik ten Hag exposed a stubbornness that ultimately alienated him from the squad. He was even meant to train with the kids, meant to eat with the kids, with the academy players. Couldn't pack his car, was eating his car. But now this manager criticizes him that he wasn't working hard in training, which I supported the manager. It's not that the man Erik ten Hag was right to do that, no. But if you have a problem with what he said, you go to his office the next day and talk to him man to man. But what did Sancho do? Sancho went on social media and called out his manager. That cannot be allowed. No club is going to allow that. You can't have two captains in a ship. You have only one captain, and the coach is the captain. So if the coach called you out in public, you don't also have the same right to call him out in public. No, if that is the case, then you have to become the coach. No organization is going to allow you call out their manager or the CEO or the director in public. Nobody will do that. None. If you have a problem, you solve it internally. So Erik ten Hag demanded a public and private apology from Jadon Sancho, and he refused. And then he sanctioned him, and that was the end. Under Michael Carrick, Manchester United are shifting towards stability, discipline, and cultural alignment. The Sancho server serves as the ultimate blueprint of what not to do. Massive wages thrown at a profile mismatch without a cohesive long-term plan. Yes, that was what Manchester United did. Yes, he's £250,000 a week for a player that hasn't shown himself or shown his abilities in England. It's massive. I don't care who that player is. That was too big. They were too eager. And then he spent 5 years. His contract has expired. He's a free agent. Even at that, no one is coming for him. At the end of the day, Jadon Sancho picked up European medals on his travels, but Manchester United got played and the fans were robbed of a generational pick. A player with the world at his feet waved at the door for £0 and zero legacy. Bad. Under Carrick, Manchester United is finally moving past this chaos. Drop your takes in the comments right now. Is Jadon Sancho the biggest waste of money in Premier League history? Or does the blame lie entirely on a broken club culture, Manchester United? Smash the subscribe button, leave a comment or review, and we will see you in the next one. As for now, don't forget to tell people about the Football Hotline. Don't forget to share with people, and don't forget also to smash the like button. See you in the next one. Thanks. Peace.